So Impact Minerals has had a long standing relationship with the Broken Hill. And for those that don't know, Broken Hill is home to one of the world's greatest mines, the Broken Hill deposit itself, where there's been something like 500 million tons of sulfide mineralization defined over a mining history which has gone almost uninterrupted for about 142 years now. So it's one of the world's fantastic places. Interestingly, though, not much else has been discovered there, apart from a smaller deposit about 30 kilometers outside of town. And so we've been active there for many years and looking for various commodities, in particular high-grade platinum and palladium, as well as high-grade silver, lead, zinc, which is very similar to the style of mineralization at Broken Hill. So it was also the focus of our participation in the BHP Explore program back in 2023. For those of you who remember, we were one of the first 7 companies selected to be on what is now recognized as a globally significant program. And we're very fortunate to get on that program. And there we were looking for new models for copper in Broken Hill. Now, we've been quiet for a little while since the Explore program because we've been accumulating more ground there in Broken Hill. And early this year, we announced that we'd acquired a very significant ground package, which now makes us one of, if not the largest single ground holder in Broken Hill, virtually completely surrounding the Broken Hill mine. So it is a fantastically prospective part of the ground. We have lots of new ideas from the Explore program, which are now going to roll out. And also, Broken Hill itself has been the subject of quite a bit of corporate activity recently, where the company was originally the whole Broken Hill mining area was owned by 2 companies, one Japanese, one Chinese. The Japanese sold their mine to what is now Broken Hill Metals, ASX code BHM, and they have done some very successful work in the few months since they've acquired that mine. They're now up and running, and it looks like that mine is going to produce for at least another 100 years, I would say. So a lot of corporate activity in the area. We know the South 32 have also just been in a private joint venture there, and they're very active on the ground. So we know that precious metal prices have gone up. We're looking for copper, one of the core commodities going forward. We have lots of drill results and some new targets and ideas in and around Broken Hill, and so it's appropriate that we get stuck back into it, and while still focusing, of course, on our Lake Hope project. So we have 3 main areas to focus on. So one is our original Platinum Springs project, very high grade nickel, copper, platinum group elements there. We made some very significant breakthroughs about 4 or 5 years ago in terms of how to explore for PGEs in the area, and a lot of follow-up work, including drilling, to be done there. We also did a lot of drilling for high-grade silver at our Dora East project. That was 10 years ago now, and some very interesting targets there. But the real big story is the models that we had for copper with the Explore program, the BHP Explore program. And just to be clear, BHP are no longer involved in that project. They just helped fund that work for us. And we have some really exciting targets that are starting to emerge. We have a ground magnetotelluric survey that's just finished, and we're very confident we're going to see some very exciting anomalies from that, and we should get that data through within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and those will be immediate drill targets. Well, a lot of shareholders have been asking the question, why are you getting back to Broken Hill when you've got the Lake Hope high purity alumina project as the flagship? And it still is the flagship, we should emphasize. We're in a particular mode of development at the moment for Lake Hope, where we are putting together a pilot plant under the auspices of our federal government grant as part of the CRCP program with Edith Cowan University. There's been a lot of work going on in the background on that, and we will have an update on that shortly. But very simply, it looks like we've cracked the first half of our process in terms of which produces potash as a side product, and now we're working through the HPA part of the equation. And also we have our investment in Aluminous. The pilot plant there is probably 90-95% commissioned, and deciding out a few of the last wrinkles, if you like. And so we're hopeful that by the end of the year we should have the pilot plant should be in semi-continuous operation, and we'll be able to then have samples to provide to clients. So If we look back, since the start of the year, we've made huge progress across the HPA space. Now, the cost of all that work is actually relatively small. We're talking a few millions of dollars per year, and that does give us the leeway to do some exploration, some drilling. Impact was always designed to find a world-class ore body. That's why we set the company up, and we think we'll have at least 1 or 2 targets at Broken Hill which are worth drilling. Over the next few weeks, we'll roll out the results of the MT survey and the magnetotelluric survey at Broken Hill. And we'll have an update on our Lake Hope project and an update on our investment in Illuminous. And considering there's only, 4 or 5 weeks now between now and Christmas, we should have a news-packed 4 weeks before we all go on holiday for a couple of weeks.